Who'd we learn that from?
That would be Team America, Brad.
Yep. Did you sit on your scrotum or something this morning? You sound down.
15 seconds to launch.
No, I did not.
Okay. I just checking.
Places, please. 5 seconds.
Adjust your mojo.
You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Now.
At age, 60, he's just gonna break bad?
Radio with an attitude.
This system that we love is broken.
I know that.
Do not comply.
Hey, mother...
Welcome to another 2 hours of common sense.
That liberty and justice for all is a myth.
And erratic behavior.
You want to, but you can't. And when you do, you wish you didn't.
This is your Daily Mojo.
Aren't they cute? They would make such a great pet. Imagine having your own dire wolf. Hey, look at that face. That is a regal, majestic. According to the press release from Colossal Laboratories and Biosciences, on October 1st, 2024, for the first time in human history, Colossal successfully restored a once eradicated species. No applause, people? Better. They restored a once eradicated species through the science of de-extinction.
I watched
After
Jurassic Park
10,000
yesterday, too.
There you go. After a 10,000-year absence, our team is proud to return the dire wolf to its original and rightful place in the ecosystem. When the ecosystem creates an environment in which an animal cannot survive, isn't that nature's way of...
Yes, that's what they said on Jurassic Park.
Technology and conservation made it possible to accomplish something that's never been done before, the revival of a species from its long-standing population of cero. That's Spanish for zero, in case you were wondering. Pretty impressive claim, isn't it? I mean, it's, let's see, where
it
is
the puppies. You see
there's a dire wolf right there.
If you watched Game of Thrones, you know what a dire wolf is.
Yep. There's a dire wolf. That would be, God, I've forgotten his name now. John Stark. There's his back to us. Isn't he the one that got his junk lopped off? The one holding him? Can't remember the name of the character.
The one on the left, yeah.
Yeah. The one holding the dire wolf. Big in, of course, Game of Thrones, but is this really the case? Is this what happened? Did Colossal Biosciences, in fact, bring an extinct species back to life? Well, it might not be that simple. According to Carly Casella over at Science Alert, she says that she reads the press release. Details of the non-peer-reviewed research are very limited. All the public has to go on right now are the images and the quotes provided by Colossal. I mean, I guess if you were going to recreate a dire wolf, wouldn't it need to have the same DNA that a dire wolf had? And that would be the logic of it.
Or at least the majority of it, yeah.
Even if it just has the majority of it, is that still a dire wolf? Oh. Jeremy Austin is the director of the Australian Center for Ancient DNA. He told Science Alert that all Colossal has done is create a genetically engineered gray wolf that looks like what the company thinks a dire wolf might have looked like. Because I don't know if you knew this, the interweb doesn't really fill you in on it, but there are no pictures of a real dire wolf.
Oh.
I mean, not one with skin on it.
Yeah.
And we have people with healthy imaginations who can take a fossil and go, I think it looked like this. the canids are morphologically similar, making it hard to verify from fossil remains the exact appearance of an extinct member of the family. Evolutionary biologist Beth Shapiro of Colossal has given a definition of a species that Jeremy Austin, again, the director of the Australian Center for Ancient DNA, finds a bit misleading. Here's the quote from Beth Shapiro. Species concepts are human classification systems, and everybody can disagree, and everyone can be right. Okay. I think the best definition of a species is if it looks like that species, if it is acting like that species, if it's filling the role of that species, then you've done it. That's what she told ABC News. So is it really a direwolf? If it's a gray wolf with, a few knobs and buttons flipped, twisted, turned on or off, is that a direwolf? Or is it a gray wolf in a different outfit? There are 2.5 billion base pairs. And Ron, I know that you're a simple man, but you know what a base pair of DNA genetic cells are, right? I mean, they're germline cells.
Okay.
You knew that, though.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Yeah. They used surrogate dog mothers to give birth to the genetically engineered gray wolf pups after they, and again, this is out of 2.5 billion base pairs of germline cells, they made 20 unique precision edits. 20 out of 2.5 billion. Is it a dire wolf or is it a gray wolf with a tweak? Colossal has not claimed an intention to make a genetically precise dire wolf, but even if they're trying to create a wolf that looks like and behaves like they think a dire wolf would, guy from Australia says that would still probably require tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of critical genetic changes. 5 of the gene edits made to the gray wolf were apparently associated with a light coat color alone. So, 15 other tweaks to the DNA chain. I'm not a scientist, but it sounds like this might be hype. I mean, it's pretty cool that they can do what they do. I'm impressed by 3D printers, quite frankly. I mean, I was sitting there last night working on the Star Trek tricorder from the original series, not the goofy later models of the thing, which were bastardizations, quite frankly. But I digress. But the fact that we as human beings can now punch in some code into a machine that takes a piece of plastic fishing line, basically, and it spits it out into a specific shape in a couple of hours is amazing. That they can take some bones, which is, I'm assuming, where they got because they got the DNA from a gray wolf. So this isn't DNA from a dire wolf. I guess we don't have any. We ran out. They are, let's see, the gray wolves. Trying to remember what they said about them being, they're obviously related. They're canid species, but that doesn't say how closely related they are. So have they created a dire wolf? Have they created a gray wolf with a nice white coat? Who, ironically, would make a very nice, I mean, they could breed these. How much do you think a dire wolf coat would cost, Ron?
I would think it would be pretty expensive.
Right, but it would look good, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you could, why don't we breed these and just make coats? You like that idea?
No.
I think it'd be fabulous. I mean, they breed minks to make coats, right? Let's breed dire wolves and make coats out of them. Imagine how much you could sell those bad boys for.
Which means I'll never have one.
Amazing. Well, don't be a stinker thinker. It could be possible. So that's the story on the dire wolf. Closer to home, everything is falling apart, and it's Trump's fault. It's probably Trump's fault that it's not a real dire wolf. They'll figure out how to do that as well. But what no one is talking about is the fact that this the tariff situation has caused gas prices, well, at least crude oil prices are down to a level that we haven't seen since before the pandemic. Ron, did you sit on your scrotum this morning? I mean, seriously, you seem down. I mean, I tell you, the oil prices are down. Gas is going to be down, and you're not excited at all. You're not excited about the dire wolf? You stepped on something attached to your body, didn't you?
I did not. No.
All right.
You
Just
had a
checking.
path
You're
this
just
morning.
off.
I'm letting you go down your path. It's your show.
You just seem awfully quiet over there.
You haven't asked me anything. I answered every time you asked me.
I just told you about oil prices being way down, and Cricket, you should be excited.
I am excited because I drive a diesel. That's right. Yes.
Exactly. So you should be excited that we're going to get lower gas prices thanks to President Trump. But you don't appear excited.
Yeah, but all my tchotchkes from China are about to go up in price.
Are they?
I don't know, dude.
Now we know what's going on. She is chewing on your ass, isn't she?
Well.
Uh-huh.
It ain't that.
Yep.
It ain't the fact that she's chewing on my ass. She works for a Chinese company. That's where the problem comes in.
Uh-huh. I should have known it. This is causing colossal strife at home. See what I did there? I tied it back into the dire wolf.
See what you did.
But the fact of the matter is the end of this entire drama. Are we going to end up with a better economy? It's going to be painful. Getting here was not without its pain. People have lost a shit ton of money in the market yesterday. How much did they say wealth had gone down? 1.7 trillion or something crazy, which is a lot of money. I mean, it's more money. You might imagine that's more money than people like me or Ron make.
A little bit more,
and it is. But the markets did, in fact, bounce back overnight. So that's the good news. Now they didn't bounce completely back, but there have been some really good things to come out of. And this is the Reuters headline: "Battered world markets bounce back, but mood is still fragile." They can't stand. They will not. If it doesn't crush Trump, they hate printing it. According to Reuters, again, which they hate Trump. According to the world markets will want a reprieve on Tuesday after 3 days of heavy selling that wiped trillions of dollars off the value of shares, but the mood was cautious, with a focus on whether Washington might negotiate on some of its aggressive tariffs. Yes, they will. I mean, that's what Trump said from the beginning. That and if you're a fan of The Art of the Deal, you know that's what he does. I mean, this, even if you are not a business person, you have to be able, if your eyes are open, you have to be able to see what he's doing. He's getting things, he's pushing the deals so that we can negotiate a better situation, a better deal for this country. But people don't want to feel the pain. And I understand that. Hell, I don't want to feel the pain. But we were going to feel pain of some sort at some point. We were headed straight for a brick wall with $37 trillion in debt. That was going to break at some point. And I would imagine in the books that are written about this period of time in 10, 20 years, that's when we'll get the explanation that, we were headed, the economy in America was, and probably the world was headed for a really, really bad crash.
Yeah.
In the years ahead, if something hadn't been done. And this was likely, again, I trust the guy. I don't think that Trump is trying to tank. It would make any sense for him to tank the American economy. I mean, why would he do that? Just because he hates America and he's working for Putin, that's why. Oh, I forgot about that. And he wants to fire people in the federal government that don't do anything. You're right, it's crazy. I was talking to a friend of mine, Brian Peck, yesterday. He's down in Florida. He moved out of California finally. We couldn't take it anymore, and we had to move
Got to get the hell out.
It really sucks because California was fabulous. It really was a nice state, and then they just took it and trashed it. But we were talking about the stupidity of everything that's happening right now. That everything is so insane, and when do we finally shake the crazy people enough to go, would you stop it? And that's probably the phase that we're in now. Because there is a lot of crazy out there. Crazy that doesn't make any damn sense. This may or may not be legit. James, thank you for calling my attention to this. I can't figure out if this is real or not, but that's the problem. There was a time in history where you could look at something and I said, this is not real. Come on.
Oh, I've seen that online before. I don't know if it's real or not.
You've seen this?
No, I've seen that person. I don't know what you're about to play, but I've seen that person before.
Who are they?
I don't know, just some influencer.
Tell me if this is a parody or not, because it sounds crazy.
I haven't had sex since Roe v. Wade was overturned back in 2021. As soon as they announced that they overturned Roe v. Wade, my wife and I decided that we didn't want to risk getting pregnant, and the only way to really prevent that was for both of us to close our legs. It's not that we didn't want kids, it's that we didn't want either one of us to fall pregnant and then there be complications and us not have access to medically necessary abortion. And while we both had IUDs at the time because we weren't ready to have a baby, we still liked having the idea of an abortion as a backup plan, just in case. All this to say, we haven't had sex since 2021, but my wife is pregnant. Now you might be thinking, Cass, she definitely cheated on you. But she told me she didn't, and she's given me no reason for me not to believe her. And so we've prayed about it, and we've been wanting kids for a while, but we were, scared of this whole thing. We prayed about it, and we said, well, if it happens, somehow it happens. If God wants us to have a kid, he will impregnate one of us. And he impregnated my wife. We are expecting a little they, them in November of 2025.
All right. Is that legit, or is that
it's parody? And she has a ton of these outrageous bullshit videos on her channel. They're just it's all it is just poking the bear. All her videos do that.
Because that would be crazy, right?
Yeah.
That would be crazy if somebody had those views. But parody is based on truth. I mean, it's not good parody if you don't have, good humor starts with a kernel of truth, does it not?
Yeah.
Because if there's no truth in it, there's nothing. It's fantasy at that point.
I mean, look at the truth that she's talking about. How crazy the world has become in the last 8 to 10 years. And yeah, just watch some of her other videos, how stupid they are. You can't.
Well, and that's the point. When you look at somebody like her and you can't tell if it's real or if it's parody.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time not too long ago when you would go, that is so stupid. Why are you even playing that? That's dumb. But now I'm like, because I intentionally didn't look it up. And I could have, frame grabbed her face and dumped it into Google Lens, but that would have been cheating. I wanted to explore this with you. And the fact that we had to get Ron to tell us that wasn't real.
I've seen too many of her videos to know that wasn't real.
You spend a little TikTok, right?
TikTok, yep.
Yeah, that's kind of no problem there. That's the other reason she's chewing on your ass, isn't it?
No.
Uh-huh. All right, so you take that parody, but then you look at this headline from Friday at the New York Post. Trans activist clashes with Dr. Phil, claiming it's dangerous to test athletes to ensure they aren't males. Digging up Dad. Hey, Dad, guess what? And then tell him about the two dudes who won the women's whirlpool championship on Sunday. Where are the women's libbers? Where are they?
They disappeared, it seems like.
They sure as hell did. The transgender activist, what is their name? Because that's her. Him, they. I don't know what her pronouns are. Trans women are women. The quote here is, I mean, Blossom. Blossom is this activist's name, and the quote from Blossom is mind-boggling. Dr. Phil says, scientific fact is not a matter of opinion, showing how men on statistical average have attributes like superior grip strength, superior total body, upper body strength, higher vertical jumps. I don't think anybody's disputing. I mean, are there going to be exceptions? Yeah, but on the average, men have larger bones, bigger muscles, all that stuff that we all learned when they taught that stuff in school. Blossom's response was respectfully, Dr. Phil, I'm going to need you to have several seats. Let's be clear. Trans women, again, are women. What you're showing me are male statistics, and trans women are not males. Everything that I can say, everything I say can actually be proven. It's scientifically proven, and I would inquire you to do research on what you're saying, because, again, it's almost like you're trying to call trans women men, and that is not what trans women are, end quote.
Blossom has a mental problem. End quote.
It's
the hell.
Again, it is in my conversation with Brian. We were like, I said, I don't care what you're sleeping with. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care what you do with them, whether you're sleeping with them or not. Just don't make me try to agree with you, and don't shove it in my face. Go about your business. Shut your pie hole. Stay away from the kids.
They can't help themselves. They can't help themselves.
Cannot. And you come out and you go on a show and you say that is trans women are not, that trans women are men, and that's not what trans women are. But they are. Let's go back to the dire wolf. Do we have a dire wolf, or do we have a wolf? I mean, is what we're dealing with a trans dire wolf? Huh? I mean, when that gray wolf in a dire wolf trans skin grows up, how are its parents going to explain to it? You're not really a dire wolf. You're a gray wolf in a different outfit. Yeah, I mean, we clipped a thing or two here or there, but you're not a dire wolf. It's Colossal Biosciences, by the way, is located in Austin, Texas, which is a hotbed for, I guess, leftist groups. And again, in the years past, the theme of Austin is keep Austin weird, which I'm all about. I've loved Austin every time I've been there. I think it's a great town. It was weird, but that was the point. Now they're trying to make weird normal. If weird becomes normal, what's weird? Doesn't that present us with a bit of a problem? When you start pushing the boundaries of weird, at some point you've got to you've got to make adjustments to what normal is and what weird is, and then where do you stop? As a society, where do you stop? I can't even imagine. We're at a point in time where and maybe the pendulum is swinging the other way, but we're at a point in time where you have people like Blossom going on Dr. Phil and saying trans women are not men; they're women. It's not a dire wolf; it's a gray wolf with some snips and clips here and there. Do we live in strange days or what?
Yeah, because you can't convince crazy people that they're crazy. No matter what you say or show them, they will never be convinced that they're crazy.
Do we bring back sanatoriums?
Sanitarium? I don't know.
Sanatoriums, there's a difference.
Okay,
between
what is
a sanatorium and a sanitarium. A sanatorium is where you go if you had emphysema.
Okay.
It was a place where, but that would make more sense if that was a sanitarium, wouldn't it? Because sanitary. Right?
I got an idea.
Sanatorium versus sanitarium. A sanitarium is a place for chronic care in a clean environment. Okay, that's what I thought. For tuberculosis. So it's a sanatorium is where you take crazy people. There you go. So I was right in my logic.
According to AI, the words are interchangeable, both referring to a medical facility for long-term illness or convalescence, though sanatorium is slightly more common.
See, that's the slippery slope. There used to be a difference. And
As
they were
mentioned
like, screw
above, sanatorium is a variant spelling of sanitarium.
But it's not.
You can't convince me it's not, because AI is telling me. It used to be
something different. AI is trying to tell you. All right. The Paimio Sanatorium in Finland, designed by Alvar Ito, was a famous tuberculosis sanatorium. Menace sanatoriums in the United States specialized in the treatment of tuberculosis in the early 20th century. I'd always heard the difference was between a sanitarium and a sanatorium, well, what we just explained. But now you're saying that there is no difference? Words do evolve. But is that a slippery slope?
Yeah.
Yeah, a man really isn't a man. A man is, man could be a man-woman or a woman-man, but a man is, see? First it's sanitarium and sanatorium, then it's man.
Yeah, I found another.
All I'm saying,
another writing that says sanitarium is a place for chronic care like tuberculosis, etc. Sanatorium is closer to the word insane, and thus a place for crazy freaking people.
Right. I'd always heard that, but again, words do change. Like men and man-woman and woman-man. Do you think we're that far off from living in caves and having to fight off the other dire wolves and man-women that are going to be coming at us? You're going to hope you have a really good food supply when all that shit
Well,
hits
if
the fan.
people like Blossom are given a freaking platform to speak, there will be other Blossoms out there who go, yeah. If you're a trans woman, you're not a man, you're a woman.
Dr. Phil is part of the problem. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, people like Dr. Phil put people on the air because it gives them money. Let's just say what happens. Yeah. That's why they give the platform.
Wade Robertson, also a Metallica song. Sanitarium or sanatorium? I don't know. He does have a...
Yeah, I saw it.
You know the wildest things about those two women playing in the pool finals the other day? They're dicks.
There it is. Let's use that as a segue, shall we?
To food? You're going to have to eat something, and you're hoping it's not a bag of dicks. In this case, it is your emergency food supply from preparewithmojo50. What?
I'm sure the sponsors will love those kind of segues.
You know what? Tell me they wouldn't agree. Would you rather eat emergency food from preparewithmojo50.com, or would you rather eat a bag of dicks?
Well, prepare.
I rest
with
my
Mojo
case.
Yeah.
Thank you. So again, do you know how not easy it is being right all the time? It's a dire wolf. It's a man-woman dire wolf. Go to preparewithmojo50.com and get tools that will prepare you for the... Look, I'm not saying the crazy is coming, but I think the crazy is coming. Or it might not. You decide. Go to preparewithmojo50.com.
Where political correctness comes to die. The Daily Mojo.
Shame on me. I have not even stopped in to look and check in on the kids over in the Rumble chat room. How dare I not give them a voice this morning? I apologize profusely, and to the people in the Daily MoJo chat room as well, because I have not checked. I've not checked on the kids over there either. Damn it with Beaver in Rumble chat room. Blossom is a moron. Not my dog, pandering to the psychosis. I think what Dr. Phil does, he puts it out there to let you see what
pander to the psychosis. He doesn't really pander to it. He doesn't. He just puts it out there and lets everybody else decide. But it's so nuts and so crazy, cash me outside, that people...
Again, I'll remind you, she's a multimillionaire now.
Yeah.
Right?
Does that mean Blossom's going to become one too?
Tuck and covet. I think he meant tuck and cover. Yeah. Thank you, Curtis. They said they need to. Roger Rabbit. The part that bothers me most is that they want to be a spectacle. Why the need to reach for attention? People have always done that. People have always wanted to stand out, wanted to be different. I think that's human nature. I mean, do you really? And I can understand it. Do you really want to be considered? Just one of the specks of sand on the.
I mean, how do you get attention for yourself? You stand out. You say stupid shit. You do stupid shit. You get on TikTok, X, any of the other social media platforms, and you make a spectacle of yourself. That's how you stand out. There are people who
stand out to human beings.
There are people who desire this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where people like Blossom and the Cash Me Outside girl and Hot Tua girl, that's where they come from.
See, I don't, Haley Welch, I don't classify her in that because she was not looking to stand out.
But she did.
And she took advantage of it.
She took advantage of it. That's correct.
Why wouldn't you? You giving a shot.
Exactly what I'm talking about. That's why wouldn't you? You feel the need to stand out.
You know where else you can find that you are special, that you are unique, and that you have everything you need? You don't need the special attention from people? You know where else you can find that? In church. You can go to church. You can find out God loves you and you are unique. You are special. Or you can try to stand out to human beings. The choice is yours. Crazy is already here. We need to run, Roger says. They want to eat a bag of dicks. Look how they try to get men to date them. And, I always have this inner struggle, and the struggle is real. By the way, Michelle Obama's podcast is sucking balls. Ironically. I have got a million of them this morning. I am just getting started. Her podcast is like, it is so far down in the dumper that it's not good. No one apparently wants to listen to Michelle Obama, which is, strange. But I have this inner, it's a conflict because people like Robin, people like Jessica Watkins. I like Jessica. I liked Robin. Now, they weren't out there being activists either. And Jessica still isn't out there being an activist.
That's my point. There's a reason why they do what they do.
And I would say this to Jessica's face, you're as effed up as a football bat. But so am I.
We all are.
In different ways.
In different ways. But Jessica's not out there trying to convince me that once she was a man and now she is a woman. It's the same way with Robin. I know Robin would always say, I knew I was a man. I'm still a man. Damn, I just like to live as a woman. And okay, do you, boo?
But, and I can't remember if Robin said that or not. I would, at some point, I thought about calling Jessica the other day, and I'm going to, because I want to have that conversation. I've never had that conversation with a trans person. And Jessica may tell me to go pound sand, but I don't think so because I think Jessica likes me too. Which leads me to this. I found this. This is a 5-year-old video. I went down the YouTube rabbit hole. The title of this video: "We are raising our kids with no gender. My extraordinary family." I think the first couple of minutes will be plenty.
This is Ari, Gwendolyn, and Brinifer. They are in a polyamorous relationship, and they all parent Hazel and Sparrow.
I'm going to pause it right there for just a second. Because I would love to dig up Raymond Orlando Staggs right now and plop him down in this chair and say, have a look-see there. Because you got two dudes flanking a woman. Why is that humorous?
Because it's so ludicrous. That's what makes it humorous.
Because the one on the left looks like a guy in a dress.
Yes. The one on the right,
this was,
give or take.
Right. There's a little more of a question mark there. If this was Monty Python, we'd be laughing hysterically.
Correct.
But I'm like,
We have a 2-year-old anti-gender baby and a 10-year-old who is non-binary.
They have chosen not to disclose Sparrow's gender.
We don't know it yet. It's something that Sparrow's going to have to figure out and then tell us.
But their parenting approach is controversial.
And remember that mask, because this is 2020, and so this dropped December 23rd, 2020. So we were in the heart of crazy town.
I have literally received death threats. Crazy, crazy lady. I hope karma hits you back and your kids grow up to detest you.
I've lived through that. Get over it, Arlo. Dennis Arlo. And I do not condone sending people death threats for any reason like this. That's not what you do. But there's an is there a difference between empathetic and empathetic? Back in the 1700s, they used to use the word empathetic. I made that up. But there's this part of me that is empathetic to them, and or is it sympathetic? Anyway, that I look at them and go, oh, they are so effed up. You just want to sit down and go, can we talk? Do you think they're evil?
I think they're lost.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think I would classify anybody specifically like this as evil. I think they're lost. I think they're.
Is it evil what they're doing to the kids? Because those kids are going to have to grow up in society. How are those kids going? And they homeschool them. At least they did. Again, this is a 5-year-old video, but there are updates on this family up until about that I could find up until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And but these kids are going to have to integrate into society.
Well,
in
here's
society,
the thing.
we have norms.
We do
for a reason.
We have norms for a reason because it makes society function. But here's the thing. I believe that they are making these children live in a cultish environment. They're homeschooling them. They're keeping them in the house. You put these two kids out in the world, and they will learn what the norms should be. Then if they make the decision to not do gender stuff, that's different. But
when you are that young, I mean, you get a lot of your stuff formed in your brain.
It is. It's formed in your brain, and they probably will forever be lost. God, that's the only word I can use right now.
Now, so is that evil to cause these children? Because you know it, I know it.
There are people out there who would say that's child abuse. Yes.
XDM says on the X, some of this crap is Jerry Springer 2025 edition. Some people, many people, will do anything for attention.
Correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Now, is it, again, when we're dealing with kids here, is it evil to... So I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, DM, but is what you're saying is that they are using the kids to get attention, and is that evil? Because I would say that verges on evil. When you are using another human being, especially one who is not an adult, that is evil. I think that's arguably evil, that you are doing that to a young skull full of mush. The world will kick you in the ding-ding enough once you get out there. You're not doing them any favors by trying to teach them, oh, you don't have to be. Because the lesson here, at least from my standpoint, the lesson here is you don't have to be normal. And I agree you don't have to be normal. Why Be Normal was a great band. Being normal to me is terrifying, because that means that you're just like everybody else. You're an ant marching along. But is that the kind of abnormal you want to be? Elon Musk isn't normal either. Think about that while we invite our friend who is on the road, Phil Bell, out there somewhere in America with his morning update.
This is Phil Bell on the Daily MoJo with your morning update. Let's talk about the tariffs. So many people are upset about the tariffs, but here's the reality. Yes, the tariffs are different. If it were up to me, we would have very, very high tariffs here in the United States, and we would also ban the income tax at the federal level, the state level, and the local level. But unfortunately, I'm not yet in charge. So what we really need is to eliminate what are called non-tariff barriers right here in the United States. Now, I want you to think about it. Have you ever tried to start a business? If you have, you know how difficult it is to go out and get a loan. And one of the reasons why it's so difficult is because the bank regulators oversee banks so tightly that even if the bank thinks your idea is a good one, it is virtually impossible for new businesses to borrow money. What's more, you have property taxation that in many places, like where I sit right now in Colorado, is so excessive on business property that owning a factory, an office building, or otherwise is very, very difficult to do and makes the cost of doing business extraordinarily high. But there's even more. We've all heard stories about the capricious regulation at the federal level, the state level, and even the local level on our businesses. So it's no surprise that for decades, so many companies have said, we are getting away from America as soon as possible because these things don't look like they're going to change anytime soon. So if you are upset about tariffs, if you are worried about the 401k, if you are worried about prices, don't look at President Trump. Don't complain to him. What I want you to do is go to your members of Congress. I want you to go to your state legislators, your governors, your mayors, and so on. And I want you to start hammering them on all of these problems. Tell them that you are tired of the property taxes. Tell them that you are tired of regulation that is so stringent that you can't start a business. Tell them these things are going to end and we are going to make America great again. It's up to you to do it because we damn well know the politicians won't. So what I want you to do is leave a comment under the show. And I also want you to download the Daily MoJo smartphone app and enable notifications. That way you'll be up to date on the latest craziness and good
Phil
stuff
Bell's
coming out of
morning
Washington,
update
D.C.
is only on
and you'll know
the Daily MoJo.
Down the line. And thanks for choosing the Daily MoJo.
The Daily MoJo, making mornings bright with Brad and Ron. They keep it funky tight.
Sometimes.
That wasn't me.
And the moves that feel so right. It's the Daily MoJo, keeping the world in sight.
I'm not sure what happened there.
The Daily MoJo.
I can tell you what happened.
Wombat Mommy, where's Mike? I need Mike. Why is Mike hiding? Agreed. I don't know. Maybe Mike doesn't travel well. A lot of comments about CPS, Child Protective Services, and the family that we saw before Phil's morning update. We'll get back to that in a second because he was talking about tariffs. The good and the bad of the tariffs. And you decide which is good and which is bad. Story at CNBC. Apple's highest-end iPhone could see a $350 price hike in the United States on Trump tariffs. An analyst predicts. Who was
because
the
they're
analyst?
built in China.
Right. Let's see. iPhone 16 Pro Max is Apple's highest-end iPhone on the market and currently retails for $11.99, which that's a lot of money for a phone. And I've got an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and it was a lot of money for that phone when we bought that.
When it was the latest version, yeah.
Right. The $999 phone, the iPhone 16 Pro, could see a smaller $120 price increase if the company has it manufactured in India. I read a story that there are like thousands of containers right now full of iPhones on the ocean as we speak, full steam ahead for the United States, trying to beat whatever deadline the tariff is.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay more for your iPhone if there isn't a solution negotiated between the United States and China, who charges us tariffs when we send stuff there. That's one story. Here's another one. The Wall Street Journal, Dateline yesterday. Headline, tariffs prompt Nissan U-turn on Tennessee plant making the Rogue SUV. The tariffs are helping to keep up production at a car plant in Tennessee. Nissan Motors had said in January that it planned to go down to one shift from two at Smyrna, Tennessee factory that makes the Rogue midsize crossover SUV. On Friday, however, the car maker said it would maintain two shifts after all, aiming to shore up local production in the United States since tariffs will affect cars imported from Mexico and Japan. So it saves some jobs. iPhone's going to be more expensive, but it saved jobs. I mean, if the plan, and I do believe that the plan is to get these other countries to negotiate so that they're not raking us over the coals on goods that we send to them. If those negotiations are successful, this is going to be a win-win. Now, will people give Trump credit for it? Of course not. Orange man bad. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's the Trump derangement syndrome is unbelievable in some people that I know. I mean, just crazy unbelievable. All right, so back to the freak show. I mean, if there ever was a definition of a freak show, that's it right there. Dennis Arlo. That's the person's name in the middle, who is a part of a throuple. Ari, Gwendolyn, and Brennifer. Those are the parents. That's 2020. In 2023, there was an update on these parents from the Huffington Post. When it comes to gender identity, some parents are offering their children the possibilities of both and instead of either or. Again, these kids are going to have to integrate into society at some point. Society is, if you don't like, and I'm not a huge fan of society, but you do have to kind of play the game. And because if you don't, if you can afford to buy an island somewhere and live by yourself, I mean, don't threaten me with paradise, but but at some point you're going to have to integrate into society, and they're just not doing these kids any favor, in my opinion. The concept of gender self-determination isn't complicated, but navigating a gender-obsessed society rife with stereotypes isn't easy. Still, parents who've chosen this path believe it's worth weathering some discomfort to give their child access to the full spectrum of the gender experience. The practice is known as gender creative parenting. And to the comments in the Rumble chat room regarding CPS, I got CPS called on me when I was in Nashville, and it was a bogus call, but it was what was the basis of it? Trying to remember. Oh, I think Playboy magazine was on a coffee table. At the time, one of my kids, how old is he? When was that? 9, 8, 9. I don't even know if it was that. That's what the complaint was, and it was from another family member who still doesn't like me. That and something about drugs. CPS calls me. We need you to come down here and talk to us. All right. I go down there. I sat down in the office and sat across from two people who I wouldn't pay to mow my lawn, who are trying to lecture me about how to be a good parent. And we're going to need you to take a drug test today. I said, no, you're not. Well, if you don't, you could lose the custody arrangement you have. Be my guest. But I'm not peeing in a cup for you or anybody else. So, and that was a completely bogus call. Where is CPS in this situation? I mean, it seems like this would be something that you may want to look in on. I mean, if you're going to look in on, a reported Playboy magazine and drugs. Roger Rabbit says, I guess CPS has lowered their standards before they choose to intervene. No, Roger, according to Wildmat Mommy, CPS loves to waste their time on good parents. Yep. Missy 13, it's like you have to prove and get fingerprinted if you work with kids, yet you can have them and do this. Right? That is the thing that's always amazed me about adoption. It is so, A, expensive because it's an industry, and B, the fiery hoops you have to jump through to prove that you're going to be a good parent when you can go pop out a couple of kids if you're a factory original woman.
Yeah.
And you don't have to take any tests. You just, there you go. Plop them right on out there. People should have mental health screening before having children, Missy 13 says. Not my dog, Munchausen by proxy. Is that the best way to describe this? It's just, I mean, if nothing else, it's weird. Arlo, Dennis,
Is that the chick in the middle?
Yes.
Okay.
When Arlo gave birth to their second child, Sparrow. Hey, this is the, okay. This is where all the pronouns, and I will die on the pronoun hill because that is so effing stupid. I cannot stand it. I hate stupid. And this is the height of it. This is from the Huffington Post. I'm going to read it verbatim. See if you're as confused as I am. When Arlo Dennis gave birth to their second child, Sparrow, 6 years ago, they and their partners, Dennis is in a polyamorous relationship, decided not to announce the baby sex and to use they-them pronouns for Sparrow. It was a choice they arrived at before Sparrow was even conceived. Very early on, it was just kind of an obvious conclusion for us. Dennis, a Florida resident, told the HuffPost. Dennis and their partners also have an older child, 12-year-old Hazel, who was identified as female at birth and addressed with she/her pronouns. But around age 4, Hazel began to explore their own gender identity and decided to change their pronouns. This prompted their parents to pursue a different... I'm like, who the hell are all these their parents? You get lost in it. It is not good communication. It hinders good communication when you start effing with pronouns because you don't know what the hell anyone's talking about. And isn't it kind of important to understand each other when you're speaking to somebody? Because it's like you're creating your own damn language here and then pissed off when people won't learn it for you. No, I won't, because English hard enough for me. I don't want Tringlish or whatever the hell this is. Critics say gender creative parents are imposing their own agenda onto children. Kind of seems that way. Oh, look, I think Sparrow thinks she's a coffee table. No, she thinks she's a princess. Let's make her a princess coffee table. Hey. But Dennis and members of other families told the HuffPost what they are actually doing is freeing their kids from people's gendered expectations. It's the rest of the world, kids on the playground, parents at school, teachers, a stranger at the grocery store. Dennis said they're all going to have different interactions with the child based on an assumption of the gender. Or if the child or human is sporting, purple and blue hair, which I don't, that doesn't even, but you can tell the look when you see it. And the teacher yesterday that went to the store and was ripping down the Trump sign and had a board with sporting wood. Remember that? You going to hit me with that wood? It is nutty wacky. A little bit more, just so you can bathe in this stuff here. My extraordinary family.
These polyamorous parents let their children choose their gender. And for their oldest child, Hazel, that's neither male nor female.
Please tell us how and why you decided to come out as non-binary.
Because the pronouns she and he did not fit. Non-binary was what I turned to. Though I do choose to act and look more feminine.
Can I go down now? Of course.
And 2.5-year-old Sparrow has yet to make a choice about their gender.
Sparrow, do you want a banana? They're anti-gender, but we're using they, them pronouns. Sure, they have anatomy, we understand it, but that's not indicative of their identity.
She said dick. You know what this is? It just hit me. It's like they're all pretending.
Yeah.
Which is what kids do on the playground. You pretend. But this happens to be, 1, 2, 3 adults and 2 kids all pretending together.
It just strikes me as life is hard as it is.
Yep.
Why add to the difficulty? Will that make these kids stronger in the future?
Statistics, I don't think, would bear that out. Now, they made these 2 kids because, again, 5 years ago, so if Sparrow is, 2 there? What'd she say, 2 or 4? 4, right? It has to be 4. So Sparrow's 9 now, and the other one is 15. So. And this assumption can lead differences in the way people talk to children, such as calling a baby with a bow on its head pretty instead of handsome. I don't think I've ever said a baby's handsome. Most babies are ugly. There are a few pretty ones, right? But most of them are because they just got squoze out of tiny holes. So they're not, nothing looks good after that happens. There are some pretty babies. Have you ever referred to a baby as handsome?
I don't think I have.
No, because it's a pretty baby. So it was, see, what year did this happen? It was July 13th, 2023 that this happened, what I'm about to tell you. This was after the story came out in the Huffington Post. It was a month later. So the story comes out in the Huffington Post about these, people, gender creative parents, whatever. And they decide they lived in Florida, and they started a GoFundMe because they needed to leave Florida. They wanted to leave Florida. And again, it's the United States of America. You are free to move about the country as you wish. You're free to start a GoFundMe. They raised in this GoFundMe, and it was help a trans family leave Florida. They raised $10,324. And the reason that they put it up there, my name is Arlo Dennis. You may have seen many interviews about gender-creative parenting online. I'm a proud disabled and transgender parent, activist, and educator in the Central Florida area. For the last 6 years, I have led classes and given speeches, thousands of topics of communication, family identity. I've been active in fighting for social justice. I attend rallies, protest meetings to create positive change in Florida. I felt believed in staying in the South. I don't know what that means. But anyway, they decide they are going to move. My family has made the difficult decision to leave our home and relocate to New England. Okay. Except they moved to Maryland, which is not New England. Kind of weird, because they live in...
what constitutes New England, then? I thought anything in the Northeast was New England.
Is Maryland? I think of New England as New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts. Is Maryland New England? No, Maryland is not considered part of New England. I didn't think so, but I thought, words change.
Yeah, you learn something new every day. I thought New England was all of the Northeast states.
New England states are Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont.
Interesting.
Mid-Atlantic states are Delaware, Maryland, Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. That's weird because I always thought, maybe I didn't think that New York was New England, but I rolled it into the same ball of dough. So they raised $10,000 to move to New England and then move to Maryland. And part of it was because they wouldn't, let me get this right. They wouldn't, in Florida, they changed the law, current legislation in Florida that took effect this summer, this is again 2023, have made it precarious to be either a transgender person or a parent to trans youth in Florida. They are redefining healthcare as abuse of children, so hormone therapy, and any sort of genital mutilation, remember the big deal about female genital mutilation in like Somalia, in other countries, that people were outraged, and people on the left were outraged, and you should be out because genital mutilation is awful, but you do it under the guise of healthcare, and suddenly it's okay. I mean, again, you're 18. Be my guest. Have it cut off. But, yeah. They're taking away access to hormone therapy for adults, even restricting the existence of gender-neutral restrooms. And, again, when Arlo says they're disabled, I don't know if that's like neurodivergent, because again, I fall into that one right there. Can I get money if I'm neurodivergent? I mean, because if that's the case, let's talk. Because I think, I think maybe I could, if all I got to do is stand up and go, I'm neurodivergent, then I might be good with that. I was just checking on and I should have done this earlier, my bad. Patriots Relief.
That's not there yet.
Okay. Sugar Creek?
Sugar Creek is good to go. Those items are on the way.
Excellent. So again, we do want to, now we can welcome Sugar Creek aboard at the Daily MoJo, and they have some amazing stuff. We'll let you know. I ordered some things, Ron ordered some things, and I mean, they look fantastic. I not use them, so I can't swear by them, but if you want to take a look in anticipation of what we might be talking about, it is sugarcreekgoods.com. there's no special URL,
No,
correct? Or
no.
is there? Why didn't we do that? It makes it so much easier. SugarCreekGoods.com. We should get I Smell Mojo.
Whatever you want to get, yeah.
I Smell Mojo. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Anyway, go to SugarCreekGoods.com. Take a look. It's handcrafted, all natural. It's a small business here in this United States of America of ours, and we love small business. And it's hard as hell, as you know, to open and run a small business, which is what Phil Bell was talking about and has stressed over, and Doc Thompson. So we love it, and we especially love it if that small business smells good. We like it.
And makes us feel pretty.
It makes us feel pretty, and in some cases, if it tastes good too, oh yeah, we're in. We're easy. We're men. We're simple.
And let me say this: a lot of people ask, sometimes, "Hey, how do I find the promo codes for your stuff?" Well, right there on our website at thedailymojo.com/sponsors. There you go. That's where you can find them. They'll be listed there with the promo codes and the percentages off. So in Sugar Creek Goods case, promo code is Daily Mojo. Use it as one word, and you get 15% off your order.
Excellent. What Ron just said, do it now. No one gets hurt, and you might even smell good at the same time. I mean, it's a win-win-win for everybody, even you, they, them, us. What's the website again, Ron?
What do you mean?
What's the website again?
SugarCreekGoods.com.
Thank you.
If you're offended, you're listening wrong. The Daily Mojo.
Hey, do you remember the pyramid UFO above the Kremlin and the Pentagon?
No.
I didn't either. I did not either. But over at Anomalien, they brought the story back. And amazingly, when I looked at it, I have no recollection of this story whatsoever. But a giant flying pyramid appeared over the Kremlin. And we'll get to that in just a moment. And kind of in preparation for, I'm going to do At the Mic with Keith on Thursday afternoon, and we're talking about Roswell. And there's some weird stuff I did not know about Roswell. But before we get to that, a couple of things. The Simpsons. This was in the Daily Express. The Simpsons predicts Donald Trump's death on April 12th. But fans call the theory out. Because the Simpsons has for years weirdly been able to predict a lot of stuff that's happened in life, right? And I can't, if you put a gun to my head right now, I'm not sure I could give you an example, but if you look it up, they've done quite a bit. But in this case, it's not true. Because in the tweet, where the hell did the tweet go? It's still loading, sorry. Right there. Intellectually Confused tweeted out the Simpsons predicts Donald Trump's death on April 12th, 2025. And it's got a picture of Trump, a cartoon Trump in a casket. Except that never happened.
Oh.
Ever. It did not happen. They even talked to Matt Seaman. He said, yeah, that scene never appeared in any episode. So I say this just because, and I know this bears repeating, but just because it's on the interweb does not necessarily mean it's true. Just so you know. That is not real. And you heard it here first. However, a tweet that is real, not Israel, but Israel, was the one I'm about to show you here from our girl, Taylor Lawrence. She used to be at the Washington Post. Did she resign when Bezos said, hey, we're going to be pro-America? Or did they fire her?
I don't remember. Good Lord.
I'm not sure either. So there is the Taylor Lorenz tweet. She's retweeting Big Nasty Thought. Big Nasty Thoughts tweet says, "Rest in peace, Joe Biden, 1942 to 2025. You were always a racist effing monster and will not be missed." Taylor Lorenz retweeted that and said, "This tweet got my hopes up." Which is kind of weird, right? I mean, is she not a big Biden fan?
That's just like, I started to say, that's just like the left going after anybody else wanting them dead.
The tolerant left, you mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, she's made her disdain for Biden clear, attacking his pro-Israel stance on the war in Gaza. Hey. See where Microsoft fired a couple of engineers who protested the use of their AI by Israel in the war?
No, I didn't see that. But
yeah,
wait, they used whose AI? Microsoft's?
Microsoft. And Microsoft fired them both for coming out and protesting the use of Microsoft's AI by Israel. Speaking of dead Biden, the Harris team, according to, there's a new book out by...
Yeah, that's
called Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House. Is that the one you're reading?
That's the one I'm reading, and so far it is a phenomenal book. I'm only about 6 chapters in. It's crazy what was going on behind the scenes.
This death poll roster to swear her in, if Biden should have assumed room temperature.
She wanted
while
a
she was
Republican judge to do it.
She was... I've seen stories that say she was completely shocked when she lost.
Yeah.
That she really believed. I mean, I don't know how. Although, I mean, there was a significant...
Well, you can see, the way the book reads is you can see from the debate forward, or from the debate till the election, you can tell that they knew it had completely gone off the rails, that Biden was completely lost, even to the extent, and I don't know if anybody's talked about this yet, even to the extent that when he would do events, they would put reflective tape on the ground to show him where to walk.
Wow.
That's just one of the many different things that they were doing to protect him. Try to protect him.
Remember, he missed the door. He's walking down the pathway in front of the White House, and he was supposed to turn and go in, and he
just walked right on past it. Secret Service
walked right on past it.
Yeah, where's he going?
Where's he going?
Yeah.
Where's he going? But they hid all that.
They hid it all. And it was his aides.
All of that.
It was his aides, and there were so many Democrats out there going, "What are we doing? This guy is nuts." And they name them all, too. This book is actually really good.
Where is that clip of... here it is right here. Hang on a second, because this is amazeballs that Jake Tapper said this. And don't know if you've heard him yet, but he was talking with Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins during an interview over at the CNN, which, as we all know, is a right-leaning truth-telling organization. I'm sorry, what? I'm being told by the control they are not right-leaning. They're a bunch of commie leftists. Mm-hmm. Huh, that's weird. News to me. So anyway, this discussion happened on the Jake Tapper. What the hell's the name show? It doesn't matter. It's Jake Tapper.
You've got 2 days of data. Everyone, especially on your side, on the left, is freaking out.
I'm not on the left.
But at the end of the day...
Wait, what? I'm not.
Yeah.
Jake, have you met Jake?
And this whole concept... All right, Jake, thank you. This whole concept is about rebuilding an American economy around American good. I'm not
on the left.
Interesting. That's wild.
The ratioing... CNN and Jake are far left, and they're too delusional to even know it. Maybe he's not on the left. Maybe he's an actor working for Deep State and does what he's told. No political bias, but obedience to behind-the-scenes operators. Are you kidding me?
I mean, he likes to think of himself as an independent, but where do they vote? On the left.
Not all of them. I don't think he thinks he's
all the
independent.
independents in Congress vote with the Democrats.
Do they?
Yep.
All right. I'm not on the left. I just hate Trump and lied about Biden's dementia for 4 years. Now I'm here to blame everyone else for it. Great comeback by Secretary Rollins. Little Jake is pissed the knees have started to bend. Then why don't they just try telling the truth? Why don't they just try reporting the facts? I mean, if they did that, they wouldn't find themselves bent over a barrel like Paramount Studios is right now. You know, Trump sued Paramount, the company, the mother company, what the hell's it called? The flagship. I think I had a stroke again. Anyway, they own CBS and 60 Minutes and everything else, Viacom. And he sued them for $20 billion over the Kamala Harris interview that they had to edit because she made no sense on her response to the question about what she would do in Gaza. And they have decided they are going to hire a mediator and they're going to work it out. They're not going to take it to court, which means they know they're guilty. Right? Either that or they realize it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. But even by that standard, if you knew you could prove that you weren't guilty, we didn't do anything wrong. Well, or did they just take the temperature of the country and go, But even then, you could make an argument that they'd have the courts backing them. But instead, the Trump lawyers and the Paramount lawyers have hired a mediator, and they're going to mediate the $20 billion. Whatever Trump ends up getting out of this, you think is he going to have to put Paramount's logo up on the Trump presidential library?
On the plane? I don't know.
I mean, that would be...
It depends on if he owns it after the fact, I guess.
Well, Paramount is merging with... I can see the company's name.
Viacom?
No, they own them now. They did the Star Wars movies. The hell is the name of that company? Not Imagine. It'll come to me. What the hell is the name of that company now? Son of a... Anyway. Oh, yes, the Pyramid. As soon as I'm going to scream out the name in the middle of this. Is that going to make you uncomfortable, Ron, if I scream out someone's name?
Skydance?
Skydance, thank you. I did scream it. Michael B., thank you for sending this. The story, I was like, wait a second. I've heard, I think, just about everything. And I don't have any recollection of this whatsoever. This was 2012. And a pyramid floated above the Kremlin.
Like a pyramid-shaped aircraft kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying? Okay.
Yeah, a pyramid. Well, yes. Colossal pyramid-shaped object, perhaps a mile wide, hovering silently above the Kremlin in Moscow. You'd be forgiven for thinking it's another wild hoax, but hold that thought. 16 years ago, Russia's biggest media outlets reported on it. Videos, photos, countless witnesses back it up. Yet this event has faded from collective memory. How does something this extraordinary just vanish from our minds? Good question. I don't know what the answer is to that. Because here is one of the many videos you can find on YouTube. This was posted 15 years ago. It's a floating pyramid. What is it? It beats the hell out of me. It's big. Don't know what it is, though. And not only that, but then, was it 9 years after this? It was in 2018.
Oh, wow. It's moving. That's crazy.
right? I mean, that is wacky. So, December 19th, 2018. Where were you that day? You remember?
I don't.
I don't either. I mean, that thing just looks wild. If you're listening to the podcast, do yourself a favor and find this when you get home, because it's just weird. And I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is, don't know what it isn't. But in 2018, years after that happened, a similar craft appeared above the Pentagon in D.C. Do you remember that?
No, I do not.
I don't either. I had no idea. There was a story in the New York Post about this. There was a story on Gaia. December 2000, going back to the pyramid over the Kremlin. In 2009, Moscow residents looked up to see an enormous dark pyramid floating above the Kremlin. Videos available on platforms like YouTube show a quadrangular structure. That same morning, a luminous spiral illuminated the sky over Norway. I do remember that. The spiral over Norway. I don't know why I remember that. Maybe I was focused on that, not the pyramid flying above the Kremlin. That same morning, a luminous spiral illuminated the sky over Norway, which Russian authorities dismissed as a failed missile test. Reports from the Telegraph and NBC News covered the pyramid, yet the story faded quickly. Huh. I mean, it's just... eyewitness Dmitry Kazanstev described it as unlike anything I've ever seen. The object has been compared to an Imperial cruiser in the Star Wars films. Witnesses estimated it could be up to a mile wide. 2 film clips exist which appear to show the same object, and footage has been repeatedly playing on Russian television news channels. Telegraph wrote about this in 2009. The identity of the shape has not been confirmed. Russian reports ruled out a UFO, but police refused to comment. Nick Pope, we've heard his name before, former Ministry of Defense and UFO analyst, said it was one of the most extraordinary UFO clips I've ever seen. We have no idea what it is. 9 years later, Washington, D.C. And this happened in D.C. Hang on, let me get the URL here, because the same... Is it the same craft? I don't know. It's the same shape. What the hell is that?
That's ship. This alien spaceship, I tell you.
I don't think they're from around here. People talking. What the hell is that?
First thought it might have been a cloud, but that thing's turning.
Just like the one in Russia.
Yes.
I mean, our attention last summer. Was that last summer? Yeah, it was last summer. No, it was the summer before last when we had the UFO meetings in Congress, right? That's been a year and a half ago. They got all of our hopes up, and then they toyed with our emotions and nothing. How the hell did we miss this? Why wasn't this brought up in the hearings?
What is this? I mean,
it's crazy. That is a giant pyramid flying over the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Need to ask blah, blah, blah about that. I'll bet he knows. You know what? I'm going to ask him, and I bet he's going to say, yeah, I don't know. I know what he's talking about. Because all those spooks are the same. I hope he's listening. Robert, if you're listening, you're about to hear from me. Let's see, they say that the brighter, but you support doing blah, blah, blah. When he sent this to me, it struck me as being odd because I'd never heard of it. Bizarre twist emerged in 2019 when Edyor Vanderlei claimed he faked the Pentagon video using CGI only to retract his story under scrutiny from lead stories. I did not make this on CGI. I have nothing to do with this, he confessed. Why would someone lie about such a hoax? Was he coerced to discredit the evidence? I mean, going back to Roswell, I'm looking forward to the Thursday at the mic, because in reading Witness to Roswell, I continue to be more disturbed and disgusted by the way those people in Roswell and Corona, New Mexico were treated when this happened. In one case,
I say we go talk to them, Brad. Let's go talk to them and see.
Well, we would, but they're dead.
Yeah. Most of them probably.
Yeah. And that's just it. Is that this happened in 1947, the Roswell incident, 1947. Most anybody who would have been alive and
They'll be in their
adult
80s,
at that
90s
time.
now. Yeah. Let's see. My mom is she is turning 80 this year. So she was born in 45. So she was 2.
That's 75 years ago.
Yeah.
I
mean, we're talking.
If they were 10, that's what I'm talking. If they were an adult when it happened, they're dead.
They're dead. Yeah.
So anybody who we will never get the truth about Roswell from a firsthand witness that hasn't already been recorded. And unless there is hard evidence, we'll never know the real story of Roswell. I think that the physical evidence that was down there, I think it still exists somewhere. But the way, they threatened a general, he was a general, threatened I think she was 12, 13 at the time, threatened to kill her and her family if she said anything about it ever again. Because she had seen the material that her dad had brought home. They were treated horribly. And if it was a freaking weather balloon, why the harsh treatment? Right? If all they had was a weather balloon, why were they threatening to kill people? Why were they... that just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense that they went to such extreme measures to keep people quiet about a weather balloon, which was only the first story. Peekapool, thank you. I think Peekapool is right. The fact that we don't remember a flying pyramid over the Pentagon means neuralizers are real. I know you're saying that, however, there have been days, because there are such crazy people out there, there have been days I wonder if a significant portion of the country has not been sprayed with stupid spray. Right? That would explain some of the Arlos out there. Would it? That just... I don't know. More UFOs next.
You're listening to the Lunatic Fringe of American Radio, the Daily Mojo.
Wisconsin jackhole talking about the pyramid video. They should have rolled the windows down to take out reflections. Yeah, I know. But when you're in the middle of that... Peekapool says, if there's money in it, my neuros will diverge all over the place. And mine too. I'm just saying, because if I can be neurodivergent and wealthy, it's just as easy to be neurodivergent and poor as it is to be neurodivergent and wealthy, right? And I would take neurodivergent and wealthy over neurodivergent and poor anytime. Rest in peace, Clem Burke. I did want to mention this, and part of the reason the episode today is Dreaming is Free. You probably don't know who Clem Burke is. And you might not know after you hear this. That's all I'm going to play. That I think that'll keep us out of the algorithm A's on the tapes. Clem Burke was the drummer for Blondie. And He just died yesterday after a lengthy battle with cancer. And that was him at the beginning of Dreaming. With that drum riff. They part of his bio says that he was in the orchestra in school, in like high school or at church, one of the two, and they kicked him out because he was too loud a drummer. Which he showed them, did he not?
Went on to make a lot of money, right?
Yeah. Just to remind you again, oh, please tell me good. It's not gone. Or for a second I thought, oh, it's gone.
You know who we lost on Sunday we didn't mention?
Who?
Jay North.
Oh yeah, Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace, yeah.
Yep, deader than $900. I'm telling you, they're dropping like flies. Got to be careful. Don't sit still. That's how Lincoln got it. This was tweeted by BS, not me. But this is a highlight reel from an actual harassment and sensitivity employee training that is used by some of the top Fortune 500 companies. This is really amazing. There are 4 clips. Here's number 1.
Hey, Speedy Gonzalez! Slow your roll, man. Come talk with me.
Look, Ken, one last time. I don't find that funny. I'd appreciate if you'd stop calling me that.
Okay, man. Whatever you say.
Pussy.
As soon as you find a sense of humor.
Right?
Remember back before all this PC stuff? Back when we could just be ourselves?
Right?
Hey, Raymond, you old dog. Get any this weekend?
That's Hey, Speedy Gonzalez.
Sounds like us pre-show.
Oh, I would do this.
Look
in the work. Oh, here's the next one. This is real harassment and sensitivity training video, because there are people in the comments that, oh, it's real. I've had to sit through this. This one's funny. I mean, they're all funny.
Look, Ken, this is really none of your business and not an appropriate topic for work.
Hey, look, man, or whatever. You're really kind of creeping everybody out. I'm just trying to get my head around why somebody would want to do this to themselves, you know? Trying to understand, be sympathetic. But whatever. I check the stalls before you go to the bathroom.
Number 3.
Hey, slow down, man, or we're gonna have to get you a racing stripe, wave a checkered flag.
Let me ask you one last time to stop with the comments. It's
okay. At this point, I want to throat punch the little midget. Right?
Wow.
I mean,
it's insulting.
It's just a joke, man. Relax. What do you think? Did I harass Luis?
No, Luis is a pussy and can't take a joke. And finally.
Okay, I get it. You know, though, obese people aren't a protected class.
Oh, wait a second. Is he going to do a fat joke? Because F him. That is not funny. Fat stuff isn't. No, wait, it is.
And surely you've noticed Ed in accounting is really packing on the pounds lately. He's going to need his own area code soon. Do you think we should tell him we're concerned about his weight? I mean, can't be healthy to be carrying all that around, can it?
Right. The responses to these videos on the X. Ken is the only one with a personality. Ken is the hero we need. I don't know if I love you or if I hate you. Why couldn't they film this in an actual office instead of in this blue screen purgatory? Why are all those awful people harassing that poor man with Tourette syndrome? Look, man, or whatever. Ken is only saying what everyone else is too afraid to say. Ken's the only one with literal and figurative balls in his workplace. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
Right? I mean, the thing, how many people do you know that have had to go through sensitivity or DEI training. I know several. And is there one of them who says, no, this is really a good idea? This helps. I mean, you got to. Have you ever?
I would venture a
that?
guess. Yes, there are. I've never heard anyone say it.
are.
I've never been through DEI training because I haven't been in the corporate world in 10 years.
I would.
Although Misty, like after this show, Misty will be like, "Sit down. I need you to watch some videos." Hell no. No,
honey, you
not
have a
gonna
problem. I think you're a filament hoarder. Twisted Synapses. I'd hire that guy and have beers with him. In my experience, people have no issue with humor of this type unless they've been indoctrinated to believe everyone hates them and such banter is aggressive and planned to hurt. The more this humor is attacked, the more people will become divided. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a person that I'm not even going to tell you which store it is, but there's a person at a store that I go to, and I'm pretty sure it's a dude wearing chick's clothing.
Maybe.
I may be wrong.
Dude, here's the thing. I just thought of this. When I was growing up, I used to get really upset when people would jack with me about my eye. But my life got 1,000 times better after I just went, F it, just deal, just play along. Shit. Because then people stop messing with you.
What did they say about your eye? I don't
It's wonky.
understand.
I just
they're all butt hurt. It's like,
just
you know
freaking
what?
have a sense of
roll with
humor.
it. Right. Or, I don't know, punch back.
Yeah. Punch back.
I mean, there are some people who are just dicks out there, and we've met them too. But most people who make a joke aren't. They're just, it's how people deal with weird shit.
It is.
Like, hey, man, or whatever. That's what it is. It's when someone is as big as a man. Remember, it's ma'am.
Yeah.
Walking into the game. It's when you're as big, generally speaking, on the average, normal women are smaller than men. It's the way we are constructed. So when you see a woman who's like, I don't know, Michelle Obama, and she looks like a linebacker, you're like, hey, man. Or
are you a dude
whatever.
or are you just big boned? See, that's funny.
Right. We'll get Dan Andros' take on this coming up next on the Daily Mojo.
You're listening to the Lunatic Fringe of American Radio, the Daily Mojo.
Hey, man. Whatever. Chief Pick, I was so excited. Chief Pick Tony, I was so excited when the memorandum came out axing all the DEI training at work. I still can't hang my nudie calendar in the work bay, though. Right? I mean, when will common sense return to America? We just don't know. Somebody who might know, Dan Andros, he is the he's the bigwig. He owns CBN News and also faithwire.com. He's a multi-millionaire, and good to see you.
I wish I was aware of this. I wish my bank account. What am I doing? I'm not in the center of it.
There you go.
Get in the middle here.
No, I'll work on it on my side. Go ahead.
Wish you could be a little more centered in your appearance, Dan. What did your shirt say?
What is going on?
That's not you, Dan. That's mine. That's me.
That's
it's
you?
Ron.
Yeah, you just get in the center of your frame. I'll fix it on my side.
You got me sitting all off to the...
It's always runs for
It's
always runs for
I'm looking right at my camera.
You just sit.
There we go.
You just sit still, Dan. Ron will fix it because he screwed it up to begin.
All right.
But we were talking about I don't know how much of the previous conversation you heard, but we were talking about the general weirdness of everything. I mean, you've got the story of Arlo Dennis. Oh, and how do I tell you the story without replaying everything? Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can find hang on, because I'm just going to show you a picture. And when you see the picture, you'll go, oh, that's what you mean. And here it comes. Hang on a second. It's going to be worth it. I promise.
All right.
Because here is the
big buildup here.
Here, right here.
They are in a polyamorous relationship, and they all parent Hazel and Sparrow.
There we go. So that's the image. That's everything you need to know right there about Arlo Dennis, the throuple. That's Brennifer and Gwendolyn. They lived in Florida. 2 kids are non-binary. They're letting them grow up gender neutral or whatever they call it. They, them pronouns. Anyway, is that weird?
Yep.
Okay. Just checking. They had a GoFundMe and they raised $10,000 on their GoFundMe to move out of Florida and into New England, which is Maryland for some reason. And so we've been discussing that and the DEI training, which you've never, or have you? Have you had to undergo DEI training?
No.
Or sensitivity training?
Nope. I mean, everybody has the anybody who works for any corporation has had to, they make you watch, it's like a mandated thing. You have to watch sexual harassment videos that are poorly acted.
They never, not at the Blaze, we didn't. Did we? I don't think we did.
Well, I was in Texas, so I don't know. If they probably did it, but I never went. But anyway.
I would have paid money to be in one with Doc Thompson. So this is real DEI training that was used at some Fortune 500 companies. Here's one of them.
Hey, Speedy Gonzalez, slow your roll, man. Come talk with me.
Look, Ken, one last time. I don't find that funny. I'd appreciate if you'd stop calling me that.
Okay, man. Whatever you say. As soon as you find a sense of humor. Remember back before all this PC stuff? Back when we could just be ourselves?
All right, there's that one.
It's really none of your business. And not an appropriate topic for work.
Hey, look, man. Or whatever. You're really kind of creeping everybody out. I'm just...
Okay, that's... Hey, man, or whatever. It's the size thing. When you see a woman...
Right, like...
This, the only I will, then there's an exception to every rule. U-turn Laverne. I've never once looked at her and thought she was a man, and I can wear her shoes. But aside from her, I've never seen, in person a woman who was like bigger than me and didn't go, ooh, that might be a guy. That's why people find it odd. That's how people deal with odd.
But not even the size. Like it's this idea that I'm supposed to. Now, obviously, as a Christian, I'm not going to say like you need to go out calling people names and making jokes at people's expenses, right? But that's just not cool, right? You don't need to be doing that, especially in the workplace. But to act like I'm not going to be, they like what if I put on a giant Barney costume? And, cut out the face, and I say I'm identifying as Barney, right? Like, and I'm serious about this. And I walk in, and I'm in this I'm on stilts, and I'm on a giant Barney thing. Then everyone is supposed to be completely okay with this. Oh, hi, Barney. Great to see you. Like, that's what they want you to do with this. And it's like, no, I should be able to say, what the heck are you doing in the Barney suit? So when some 6'8" guy rolls in and he's wearing a dress and makeup and everything, I'd be like, what's up? What's the deal? Like, I should be allowed to be shocked. I think we need sensitivity training for those of us who have to see the freak show and then they're like making us say, so can we do reverse sensitivity training where it's like that scene happens and then it's like, we know you're shocked and mortified by this horrific scene that you're seeing right now. And it's wrong to criticize the people that are reacting to the crazy.
I don't disagree with you at all. And that's why when you see that the image from that first video with the throuple family, it is not normal. It is not normal. No. What they're doing isn't normal. is what they're doing to the kids, because they've told the kids you don't have to decide what you are. Yet.
I
Is that
think
child
this
abuse?
might be. I think so. We've yes, absolutely. We've talked about the pendulum swing, and you know that's sort of the tactic that you've seen them use. It's just sort of like, you know what, just shame them. Like the LGBTQ plus whatever the movement. That movement is built on bullying.
You forget
Full
to
stop. Period. It's yeah. I didn't forget. I'm exclusive. I'm exclusive like that. But do you remember when the maps came out? The minor attracted person. They tried it. They tried this video. They tried the tone, and it was like finally that was a bridge too far. Like no, we're not ready for that yet. But they're gonna try it.
Yeah,
they're absolutely gonna try it. So you've got to like squash this stuff because it's nonsensical. One of my favorite videos was, it's a young man. I don't know who it was, but I think it was PragerU or something like that. But earlier on in the whole trans thing, he went to a college campus and said, what if I told you I was a woman? And the student's like, well, I'd say nice to meet you and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going to be all nice and we're going to be friendly and I'll be respectful. And he said, what if I said I was a 6'10" woman? And he, you know, he's like 5'8". And she's like, what? Like you could see she's like the wheels are turning, and he said, "What if I said I'm a 6'8" or 10 Chinese woman?" He's just a white guy, and she's like, "I see what you're doing here." It's like, for whatever reason, society just decided we'd be okay with this lie. Like we're okay with playing nice on this lie, but the premise you've set up, like the guy was absolutely right, is. The premise you've set up is whatever I say I am, I am. We all know that's bullcrap. We all know that's bullcrap. I cannot say I'm an 11-year-old boy and then go back into school at, you know, whatever 11-year-olds are in middle school and you know, go play on the sports teams and do everything else. But I don't know if people haven't. Someone's probably tried. I don't know if we've gone with it, but like if you're going to be consistent, you have to go with what they're saying. So if someone did make that claim, you'd have to go along with it by the rules of the game that you set up. And I think that's why I like that video so much, because he exposed that flaw in their thinking and the standard they've set up. And so, but here we are. So hopefully people are like kind of waking up to that. And I mean, I'm hoping the pendulum swings back to where we can just be like, whoa, what were we doing there? That was quite a trip, huh? And
and hopefully we will get there. I don't know when, but because it's hard to put this cat out back in the bag, I think. Because you have a whole...
Well, the DEI stuff's going away. I mean, I think you were mentioning that training, I think a lot of companies are like, okay, that was... that didn't work.
For now, what happens when the next Democrat or wacko Republican gets in office and brings it all back? I mean, that's out there. I mean, it's a possibility.
Well, let me give you an indicator.
We may be out of the woods, but
let me give you an indicator. We'll check the wind. Gavin Newsom, considering a run for president, right? What has he done? What are the sorts of things he's saying? He's backtracking on all this stuff.
But isn't he still holding on to the Latinx thing? I thought I saw a video where he was like,
no, he said he didn't say it, and then they played like
that's right,
videos of him saying
yes, right, him saying it, right, yeah. So yeah, you're right. And that's what we see every candidate do running, especially for president, is they make this major shift from whichever side they're on to the middle ish, and then once they are in office, then they peel off their human suit and they become whatever freak they are up underneath. But
it shows. But I guess what I'm saying is it shows the culture. If that's what he thinks is going to get him more votes and more people supporting him, he's going that way, I guess is all I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, but,
okay. All right.
We'll see.
Yep. I see what you're saying. And in regards to, because I just had this thought with, again, this family are now in Maryland, the throuple with the 2 kids. When those kids grow up, when those kids become adults, they are going to have to, and at some time before then, they're going to have to integrate into society. They are going to be seen by other kids as freaks because, if nothing else, kids are honest. They are going to go through some probably pretty harsh stuff as they're growing up, being non-binary and whatever. So it's going to be the people right now who are 10 years old, 15 years old, 8 years old right now that are seeing the crazy, are being told it's crazy. They become adults and they're like, no, I remember this stuff. I remember how crazy this crap was when I was a kid. We are making some changes. It's going to be that generation or that age group, whatever they're called, that's going to have to make the change. And maybe stuff like this will be beneficial in making the change.
I think so. And I think another thing is, and like Billy has this, I think it's on the website today. Actually, let me look. We're kind of getting low on time here, but let's see if we got the numbers up.
We can squeeze a lot in 5 minutes.
No. The researcher teases shocking Bible faith findings that'll surprise Americans. So basically, he goes through this, and there's all kinds of trends happening that it indicates maybe people are kind of seeking out or engaging in faith more, going through some of these numbers. And I'm a firm believer that, well, now, I'm a Christian, right? So I believe the Bible is truth. But regardless of what you actually think about Scripture, the Bible makes truth claims, ultimate truth claims about our reality, about who we are, who created us, about God, the nature of universe, like all the explanations for why we exist, what's going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. And so truth claims. The Bible makes ultimate truth claims. And I think what's happening now with all the crazy, when people keep saying like, no, I am a woman, hear me roar. It's a nice Adam's apple you got there, ma'am. When you're being forced to say things that are blatantly untrue, I think at some point it forces you to say, okay, these people are full of it. Like this, I know that's not a girl. I know it's not. So what they're lying to me. So what is true? And I think when you go on a honest to goodness search for truth, you can't help but have to land at the Bible at some point. You have to reckon with the truth claims that are made in the Bible. And so ultimately, then you're going to get a lot more people who become Christians and become believers. So me personally, that's how I think things turn around, is you get more Christians in there. You get more people believing in truth. And right now, you got a lot of people being fed lies. So I think they're being pushed into a search for truth. And I think you're seeing more people come to faith. I mean, college campuses, we keep reporting on this. Like, you're talking about young people, revivals are happening on these campuses. And you would think like, college is the place of debauchery and the place of just awful. And like, of course, that stuff still goes on. But you're also seeing just a big move of young people surging towards faith. And so I think that's maybe a net positive in all the chaos that's going on, is that it forces you, when you're being fed lies, it forces you to at some point say, okay, what is true? And you go on the search, and a lot of people are going to land at the ultimate truth of the Bible.
Well, and I mentioned earlier in the program that we were talking about these people who are out there, again, like the family, wanting attention. And people like whoever that was in that DEI, the linebacker dressed as a woman, who looking for attention. And brought up the point that, where you can find out that you're not, because I think a lot of people think, I don't want to be just one of a bazillion human being. I want to think I'm special. I want people to see me that I'm special, I'm different. And I said, you can find that too if you go to church. Find out that God made you different, made you unique, made you, so you have worth. And you don't have to run around trying to get humans to
100%
give you the attention. And maybe that shift, like you said, is happening. Ron, you can grab the story there on on FaithWire. But, there are only so many places to turn to find truth in the world, in the physical world. And I think you're right. Maybe eventually people, if they are given a shot, do turn to religion, faith, the Bible, to find truth.
Well, I think
if they've been lied to.
I think it's a great point you make that these people are craving attention. They're craving identity. And when you try to find, we're kind of born knowing that we're supposed to worship something. We're supposed to have an identity in something. And that identity is in Christ. That identity is in the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the triune God. And when you search for it elsewhere, it's going to end up just in all kinds of craziness and brokenness. But I think you're right. I mean, I think that's what these people are doing. They're saying, I know I'm worth something. I know that I'm created, but I don't know, but they're looking at it in the wrong place. And then they aim and miss the mark and go for, well, we're polyamorous. Well, look at us. We're great. And you're right. Like when you realize that God made you, you're wonderfully and fearfully made, uniquely made for a purpose. You don't know exactly what that purpose is, but that God has a plan for you and a purpose. You got a purpose in mind, but we might not know exactly what our, specific role in God's plan is until even on the other side, right? We might not know, but when you know that truth, it's going to give you peace. It's going to give you, no reason to pursue all the crazy that we're seeing.
So wait, when I walk through the pearly gates and he tells, and I'm like, that was what I was. Why didn't somebody tell me? I mean, it'd be so much simpler if it just, if he could send a text. Oh wait, I do have my the app on my phone where I can text back and forth with Jesus. I don't know if that's the real Jesus though. I'm starting to have my doubts. What's happening on the Quick Start podcast today?
Hey, we have got a conversation with Ray Comfort. Many of you may be familiar with the evangelist Ray Comfort. He's out on the street all the time. Amazing videos of him witnessing to people and sharing the gospel with people on the street. But love Ray. He's on the podcast today. We talk a little bit about tariffs and also the students who were given on a field trip to a science museum ended up with sexualized pamphlets with a bunch of sexual stuff in it. So Planned Parenthood, not surprisingly, kind of indirectly behind that one. Yeah. So
who would have figured?
Discussing that and more on the podcast.
The world is weird. The world is weird.
Yes.
Dan Andros, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you. Thank you. Talk next week.
See you, buddy.
You got it. And that's it.
What do you mean it's let's go?
That's all. I mean, who cut this program down to 2 hours? I want to find them. 2 hours of auditory deliciousness known as the Daily MoJo for today, Tuesday, the 8th of April, year of our Lord 2025. And let's find out what anybody learned during the course of the program. DM says filling the void with something else. Dan Andros is spot on. It's people don't want to think that they are normal.
Yeah,
are just one of every
people
other. People
don't want to be plain.
Down.
People don't want to be seen as plain Jane. Yep.
Wisconsin Jackhole. I really didn't learn a damn thing today. Good. Assignment achieved. Dr. Mojo Marsh and Gavin Newsom laughed while helping destroy a homeless camp. That's all I need to know about him. He's a sorry piece of shit. No offense to actual shit intended. Chief Fectoni. Oh, sorry. I already got that one. Over in the Daily MoJo chat room, Sainted Pope, the 3 to the 38th. What I learned today, Brad hates stupid, and luckily for Ron, Brad doesn't hate incompetence. We need a third hour. Ron, I love you no matter how bad your shortcomings are. And the wonky, I can look past your wonky eye.
Can you?
See what I did there? I can look past you.
I see what you did.
Missy 13, I don't think they should be raising kids. Oh, sorry. Stop it. No, Missy 13 says, now I can start my day. Jody 121, what I learned today. The 419 barbecue battle is May 17th in Maumee, Ohio. Come on out and support OTR Smokehouse. God bless y'all. I would love to be there. I don't know if I will be, but I would love to be. And Wombat Mommy says, I hate typing while half asleep. Wow.
I do it every night.
You should. Wake up, right? That's why you send me those texts with the pictures.
Yep.
Roger Rabbit says, have a wonderful day, everyone. Ron, I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too,
I
Brandon.
really do.
Yep.
Go buy some filament. You need more.
I don't need more. I got some on the way today, though.
As for the rest of you, remember that we the people must hang together. Otherwise, we shall surely hang separately. Sic semper tyrannis. Resist stupid. And good night, Doc Thompson.
Wherever you are. See you tomorrow. It's hump day. Yeah.
Well, hump.
Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.